Ha guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but before that don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Warriors young star could be X factor for Cinderella title run. It only took 4 games for the Golden State Warriors to get their swagger back. Jimmy Butler's arrival in Golden State gave the franchise new life heading into the All-Star break. Now the return of their ascending young star could have a similar effect, per NBC Sports Bay Area's Taylor Worth. Former NBA champion and current TNT analyst Kenny Smith said this about what Warriors forward Jonathan Kuminga can do for the ball club if he ups his game upon return from his ankle injury. He has to take the step, not a step, the step that separates him from the rest of the pack, Smith explained. And if he says that we're going to be looking around here in May going, oh my god, they're in the Western Conference Finals. Kuminga is currently third on the Warriors and scoring with 16.8 points per game. Warriors superstars Stephen Curry and Butler are their clear first and second options, capable of putting up 30 and 20 ppg respectively. Should Kuminga bring his offensive output closer to around 18 ppg off the bench, he'd make Golden State an elite second unit while maintaining his status as their tertiary option. Buddy Hield and Brandon Podmski may be better fits in the starting lineup due to their outside shooting prowess, but Kuminga could still be their third most impactful scorer. A key point of focus for the 22-year-old would be for him to increase his 45.9% field goal percentage. Kuminga has shown an incredible ability to get to the basket and finish inside, having said that he yearns to learn from Butler, who is one of the best in the league at scoring on minimal dribbles. Kuminga may thrive further by decreasing the 3.6 three-pointers he takes per game at a pedestrian 34.5% rate and scoring at will off of backdoor cuts and off-ball movement. The 6'7", 225-pound wing has the size to pin his man down low and establish positioning in the paint. Should he take a page out of Butler's book while doing what he does best, the Warriors will have an attack capable of getting far in the playoffs and potentially going all the way. As Smith alluded to, NBA remaining strength of schedule puts the Warriors in a great spot coming down the stretch. While the stretch following the NBA All-Star break is often referred to as the second half of the season, that's really not accurate, as it's more like the final third of the 82-game slate. But whatever you want to call it, it's undoubtedly crunch time, as the next 2 months will decide the field for the 2025 NBA playoffs for the Golden State Warriors. They've got a little work to do if they want to avoid the play-in tournament for the second straight season, and after the acquisition of Jimmy Butler ahead of the trade deadline, there's undoubtedly a little extra pressure on the Dubs to get themselves into the top 6 in the Western Conference standings before the regular season concludes. Throw in Draymond Green's championship guarantee and that pressure mounts even further heading into this final third of the 2024-2 campaign. The Warriors are in 10th place in the conference at 28-27, sitting 1.5 games ahead of the Phoenix Suns 26-28 for what would be the fourth and final slot in the play-in tournament on the west side of the postseason bracket. But Golden State is also just 3.5 games back of the 6th spot, which is currently held by the Los Angeles Clippers, 31-23, 5.5 games back of the 5th-seeded Los Angeles Lakers, 32-20, and 6 games behind the 4th-seeded Houston Rockets, 34-21. The likelihood of Steph Curry and company catching the Rockets or even the Lakers seems low at this point, but the Warriors are undoubtedly in a good position to get themselves into that top 6, as they have the second easiest remaining strength of schedule in the West coming down the stretch. Strength of schedule must always be taken with a grain of salt, as just about any team can win a game on any given night, but from an overall standpoint the Warriors should feel confident about their 27 upcoming contests, as their remaining opponents have a combined winning percentage of only 488 when taking all 30 NBA teams into account. Only 8 have an easier slate over the next 2 months. 6 of those, however, are in the Eastern Conference. Taking just the 15 teams in the West into consideration, only the Minnesota Timberwolves have a lighter load, as their remaining foes currently own a combined winning percentage of 474. Again, strength of schedule isn't always the best metric to use when predicting wins and losses, but that doesn't change the fact that Golden State has plenty of winnable games remaining on the docket, some of which are against some of the lower tier teams in the Eastern Conference, and it certainly doesn't hurt that most of the teams the Dubs are chasing in the standings have much more challenging slates. And speaking of a couple of those teams, the Warriors will get a chance to make up some ground quickly once they resume play, as they face the Sacramento Kings on Friday and the Dallas Mavericks on Sunday. So depending on how things play out, Golden State could very well be in the number 8 slot by the time the weekend is over. Kevin Durant slams Steve Kerr for crazy talk about him. Phoenix Suns superstar Kevin Durant slammed his former coach Steve Kerr's comments on why he rejected the multi-trade at the deadline that would have reunited him with the Golden State Warriors. Kerr pointed to the criticisms that Durant received when he joined the Warriors in 2016, which led to 2 championship runs and 3 NBA Finals appearances as the reason why he did not want to return. I don't blame Kevin one for not wanting to rerun things here. K told me young Masak of ESPN last week he took so much exploitive for, like, oh, you're jumping on the bandwagon and then he's Finals MVP 2 years in a row. It's like he still gets criticized. Durant vehemently denied it. People talk crazy about me all the time, Durant told ESPN's Mikiko Andrews in a revealing interview. That's not the reason why I didn't want to come back. I just didn't want to get traded midway through the season. It was nothing against my time with the Warriors, or I heard because I don't like Draymond Green. At the end of the day, I just didn't want to move, and I wanted to see it through with my team in Phoenix and see what we could do the rest of this season. I'm glad I'm still the Warriors aggressively pursued a Durant reunion at the trade deadline before they pivoted to Jimmy Butler, according to ESPN's Brian Windor and Ramona Shelburne. A multi-trade framework that would have seen Durant return to Golden State was discussed before he got wind of it and ultimately thumbed it down. The 3-way talks even expanded to loop in Washington. Those talks included Butler, Warriors forward Jonathan Kuminga, Wizards center Jonas Valanciunas, 2 first-round picks from the Warriors and 2 second-round picks, one each from the Heat and Warriors, and pick swaps to the Suns. Sources said the Warriors would have received Durant, while the Heat could have received Wiggins, Cleveland's 225 first-round pick via Phoenix, Dennis Schroeder and Kyle Anderson. Windor and Shelburne wrote Durant rejected the Warriors in a conversation with Stephen Curry. Windor and Shelburne reported Curry wanted a read on how Durant would feel about returning to the team he had chosen to leave after the 2019 Finals. Sources said Durant told him it didn't feel right and that this wasn't the time to revisit their basketball partnership. According to multiple sources with knowledge of the conversations, he added he was happy in Phoenix and wasn't looking to play elsewhere. Windor and Shelburne wrote the Warriors could not have asked for a better second choice, with Butler as the 6-time NBA All-Star wing. Has seamless fit in. Butler's addition has revitalized the Warriors, who are now tied with the Sacramento Kings for 9th seed in the Western Conference with an identical 28-27 record. Golden State is 3-1 since Butler joined the lineup. The 35-year-old Butler averaged 21.3 points, 7.0 rebounds and 5.3 assists while making 8.5 of 10 free throw attempts in his first 4 games with the Warriors. And you fan, what do you think of Kevin Durant's situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.